Hey, everyone, this is Darren Kidd. I hope you're having an amazing day. And we got the awesome Tanya Aliza with us today. And while we wait for people to join, I don't want to wait just a few seconds, but do me a favor, whether you're watching this live or on replay, as you join, let us know where you're watching from. And as always, we're broadcasting on multiple platforms. So we've got it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Periscope. And so if you're on those platforms, make sure you like and subscribe, and also make sure that you click on the bell, which will give you alerts anytime that I go live. And so on my channels, what I like to do is, each and every week, I like to bring you, not only, content and information that can help you get to where you want to be sooner than later, right? Help shave months or years off your learning curve. And but I also like to bring you, amazing guests and trainers that can add value to you. And so we're going to get right into that in just a second. But first, let me say, Janine, I hope I'm saying your name right on YouTube. Welcome from South Africa. And let me know who else is joining as you pop on. So Tanya, before I do the famous intro here, just wanted to thank you for joining us. And I'm excited about today's training. So we appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I get so fired up and so passionate about what we're going to be talking about today because of the lifestyle that I get to live because of it. So thank you for having me. This is going to be power packed for people. I hope they're ready to take some notes.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started right away. And so for all of you, maybe this may or may not be, because I know Tanya has a huge social media presence. I know she's done amazing things, but I want to make sure I give her the proper introduction as you join. Hey, Ruben, thanks for joining from Milwaukee, and welcome from California. But, Tanya is someone that I followed for several years, and I've watched her grow not only her social media following. I've seen her do amazing things in the network marketing space. I've watched her brand, continue to get better and better and better. And so not only that, I was a mentor. She was a mentor for me, just watching her online. And then we had some friends that introduced us, a while back. And, come to find out we had a lot of the same connections. But, I even hired her at one point, because I'm like, you know what, you're doing some amazing things. And it's always important to learn from other people, modeling knowledge. You find someone that has what you want and you model what they do. And, because think about this. Why would I spend a decade trying to figure out what to do right in my business? And if I'm looking for the skills and talent and in the skill set that Tanya has, why wouldn't I just hire her and shave years off of my learning curve? And that's extremely important. But it's also important to make sure you're going to the right people for the right information. Like, none of you are going to reach out to me and say, Darren, give me your top hair care tips. Like, that's crazy, right? So it's important that we find people. If we buy their opinion, we buy their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so I watched Tanya go from, having a goal. And basically, from what she shared with me, she wanted to make a hobby out of building online. And she had a goal to go out there and make about $5,000 a month, from home. And I have watched her turn that into a multi-million-dollar empire. And I was talking to the guy that helps me run all of my things this morning. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, every time I'm around Tanya, every time I watch what she does, I'm more and more impressed. And he said she is definitely one of my favorites. Like, she is one of the best in the world at what she does. And so what I'm excited is Tanya is going to deliver today some information that's going to help you get to where you want to be sooner than later, when it comes to building your online brand. And she's also probably going to share some things with you, like she shared with me in the past, that started me thinking about certain things. And I wish I would have known that years ago. That's why I wanted to bring her and introduce her to our audience so that you could hear this information yourself. And I started doing some of these things many years ago. I started building my list, before I left network marketing. When I was in a network marketing company, I'm like, you know what? Money follows influence. And, and where eyeballs and focus goes, money goes. Mm-hmm. And so I want to start building a list, because that way, those followers, I can add value to their life, add value to their business, no matter what I do in the future. And I'm really glad that I did that, because years ago, I wasn't really I didn't say, hey, look, I'm just going to be a coach and a trainer and a speaker. But I'm really glad that I worked building my list, because then when I left and went into that world, I had thousands of people that I was able to update and let them know what I was doing. So with that said, Tanya, we appreciate you jumping on. Thank you so much for being on here today. I'm excited that you're going to share some of the tips that took you years to learn, that help you build a multi-million-dollar empire. And so we just appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm just sitting here listening, and I'm nodding my head, and I'm like, I'm really engaged in this training. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be doing the training. You're such an incredible trainer. I'm so glad that we have had the opportunity to get connected more on a personal level. I've known you for years and years afar, because just you being such an incredible trainer and well respected in the network marketing industry and profession, that I'm so glad that now we have that personal connection. And I'm honored. I really am honored that you guys have viewed my business that way, in a sense where you wanted to plug in and learn what I was doing. Because it's funny when you get people that you look up to, and then they look up to you, and you're like, really, little old me? So thank you for that. And yeah, I'm pumped about sharing this. And thank you for asking me to come and share some of the things that just to put this into perspective, you guys, like Darren paid me a lot of freaking money to learn some of these things. And I'm just going to share them with you, because I believe more business owners need to have this, whether, whatever it is that you're selling, if you're selling products or services, or if you're network marketing, or if you're a coach, or if you're an insurance, or you're a real estate professional. Now more than ever, I think we all can agree that we have to learn how to use online. We have to use social media to grow our businesses, because look at just what's happening in the world today. So this is so important. And I never would have guessed 2010, when I started growing my business online, that I would be here today being like, wow, I'm glad I made that decision, So thanks for having me, and thanks for being so incredibly valuable to your people. And I'm sure that they can agree, like, you are literally one of the best trainers ever. And I've even asked you to come and share at my high-end masterminds that I run, and share your knowledge and share your energy with everybody. And you've graciously said yes.
Stop some more. Stop
it some more. So, but it's true. I don't just say those things about everybody. So here's the thing, you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what it is that you do. What profession, what industry are you in? I'm always curious, the audience that I'm talking to. So when you're here live, the benefit that you get for investing live is that if I've got some examples, I'm going to reference those examples directly to what it is that you guys are doing, because you showed up live, and I want them to be as actionable to you in your business as possible. So let me know what it is that you guys do, and I'll see those comments come through. If you see my eyes go over here, it's because we can see the comment thread with all the channels that Darren is streaming to with his fancy technology. So, so I started in the network marketing profession in 2009. I was actually a finance specialist before that. I made good money, but I had no time. I was working 6 days a week, 12-hour days. I made good money. When somebody presented network marketing to me, I was like, okay, I can make the same amount of money and I don't have to work so much. Cool, I'm in. And I jumped in full feet. There was not social media like there was today. So nobody was training it. Nobody was teaching it. Nobody was doing it. In fact, if you were doing it, you were all told not to do it. Back in the day, if you guys are old school, you'll remember those days. If you're new school, thank goodness you don't remember those days. So now we have social media is so well respected, and people really truly believe, like, we now know we have to grow our businesses online, which is so beautiful for me, because that's how I like to build now. But I did okay for the first year, built it all offline. And then I said, I know that there's a better way. Like, there is a better way to get in front of people that are actually looking already for what I have, or the benefits of what my product or service can provide. And I know that there's the World Wide Web out there that I can figure out hopefully how to position my stuff in front of people that are perfect for what it is that I have, and stop throwing so much mud at the wall and hoping that some of it sticks. I want to be a little bit more efficient with my time in my business. So basically what I did is I started learning online marketing in 2010. And like a lot of people, when they start learning social media marketing and online marketing, you go down a lot of rabbit trails. There's a shiny object over here. Oh, what about this? What about that? And you name it, I did it, or I tried it for my business. So from 2010 to 2014, it was hard. Like it was really, really hard. I might have been spending more money even that I was making. I know when at the end of the day, when I looked at the bottom line, there wasn't a whole lot of line left. And I was being told, do the YouTube thing, cold message in Facebook groups, do curiosity posts that they're now called, do blogging, there's SEO, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's all these things. Now there's more things. So it becomes even more confusing today than maybe it was back then. And I remember I was making about $56,000 a year of my business in 2013. And I'm struggling. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm not sleeping some nights because I'm in front of the computer trying to figure out how to make this work. I'm like, I see people doing this and I see people have success with this, but why can't I figure it out? And I'm like, okay, I can figure this out. And unfortunately back then, like Darren says, the fastest way to get from point A to point B is like follow somebody that's already doing what you want or has what you have, right? And that back then there wasn't a lot of that opportunity. Now there's so much of that opportunity that I think that we're just inundated, to be honest. There's everyone and their dog's a guru and a trainer and a coach and selling you like all these things and courses and whatnot. So now it becomes even more harder to navigate, like which way do I go and who do I pay attention to? So in 2013, making about $56,000 a year, it's coming into 2014. So it's the beginning of 2014. I'm on the elliptical at the gym. And I'm listening to a podcast. I love podcasts. The podcast I was listening to at the time was Amy Porterfield's podcast, Online Marketing Made Easy. And I talk about this all the time because I really have to give her credit, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I loved Amy Porterfield's podcast. I still do. I listen to it religiously. And I loved her style. And I loved her strategy and her business model. Now, she had a completely different audience than me at the time, but I was like, her strategy is brilliant. And what her strategy was she delivered a high value piece of content once a week, which was her podcast. She talked about something. She trained us on something. It was valuable. I learned stuff. Go figure. And then what she did was she had a call to action on every one of her podcasts back then. They're a little different now if you listen, but back then, every week she would have a call to action on her podcast that said, hey, if you got value out of this show today, you might want to pick up this freebie that goes along with it. And she would have a call to action to a link where somebody could pick up the freebie that went with the episode. And basically it was a cheat sheet, or it was like a checklist, or it was like a collection of her favorite smartphone apps, or, it was just something that she put together that was valuable. And what I found myself doing every time was I would stop what I was doing. Typically I was at the gym. I'd stop what I was doing. I would opt into her freebie. I would take action when she told me to take action. And I was like, one day, I think it was February 2014, I stopped off the elliptical to do my action taking thing with her. And I was like, holy smacks, I'm taking action and I'm tuning in religiously to this woman. There's got to be something to this. I've got to model this, because if I'm taking action, and it's not easy for me to take action on something. I'm very reserved and I'm skeptical all the time. So I don't know if that's the best way to be, but whatever. But I'm taking action and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I've got to model this. And so what I ended up doing is I was like, okay, I'm going to create a freebie for my products and my services. And I'm going to see if I can position that freebie in a way where I'm only attracting the people that are interested in those benefits, because those are going to be the people that I want to talk to, because they're going to be easier sales for me to make, right? And how many people want easier sales? Like, give me a hey yo in the comment section below, right? Easier sales is better than harder sales. So what I did at the time, I was in a health and wellness company, different company than I'm in today. And we had this drink, and this drink you would take whatever, a shot of it a day or 2 shots a day, I can't remember. And and if you ask people like, what did they experience from taking the product, everybody would say so many different things. Like they would say, oh, it helped me with this, it helped me with this, it helped me with this. There was a whole gamut of things that people were saying that this was helping them with. But one of the common things that people were saying that I kind of broke it down to is people were saying, it's helping me to reduce inflammation in my body. So what I did was I said, okay, how can I get this product information in front of people that are specifically interested in that benefit? Because if I can do that and I get this group of people, those are going to be my perfect buyers, right? So I spent 60 minutes. I'm not an expert in inflammation in the body. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a naturopath. I'm a finance person, right? That's all I know. So I said, who's the expert if I'm not? And everyone has access to the same expert, is Google. So I went to Google and I asked Google, hey, Google, share with me some information on, people that what are people asking for if they're trying to reduce inflammation in their body? And what I found is that, people want to know what foods cause and eliminate inflammation. So I actually put together this freebie that said, it was basically 10 foods that you should consider eliminating and avoiding and eliminating out of your diet, and if you want to reduce inflammation out of your body. And so I had this, it took me an hour to create this thing. It was not fancy. Literally anybody that can type on Word, can create a freebie. All right. It doesn't have to be fancy. They're fancier nowadays because I have more resources to put into them. But my first freebie was literally a document, like a PDF document that looked plain as day. The title might have just had a little bit of a fancier font color or something, right? And so what I would do with this freebie, so here's what I did with it, and here's what happened. So when I was posting on my social media or was doing my videos on YouTube or whatever, right? However you're putting yourself out there already, you should be doing this on social media. You should be posting every day. And you're not posting every day about your business. You're just posting something every day to keep the algorithm going. And you basically have your 5 posting categories. And whatever they are for you, whatever you're into, whatever you like, you're posting about. So it could be for some people like faith, family, maybe their dogs or pets or whatever animals that they're into, maybe their kids, maybe a special, maybe they're into keto or a specific diet or anything that you are really enjoying. You're posting about that. And that's what I would do, because you're going to social to be social. Then what I would do is I would say, hey, PS, if you're interested or you know of anybody that's interested, I've put together this really cool food guide that'll help people to eliminate and help to eliminate inflammation in the body. I've had a lot of people come to me and maybe you share a little story or whatever, but you're like, hey, here's the link to that thing. Here's the link to that food guide. And what ended up happening is I had so many people reaching out, or they would click it, right? They would click the link and they would download the freebie. And now there is a formula to this where your freebie not only generates you leads, but it also helps you to make sales, because we can both agree, Darren, big lists are great, but if nobody's buying, there's no point, right? So that's the goal, is not just leads, but leads that buy. So I would have all of these leads that were coming in. So just imagine, close your eyes and be like, okay, what would it feel like if I woke up in the morning and I opened my email inbox and I had 10 leads that were interested in reducing inflammation, and let's say that your product did that? Would those not be the most perfect leads for you to work? And how easy would it be for you to work those leads every day, right? Or what would it also feel like if you had, 10 leads and you had 2 of them buy because they clicked the link in your freebie to buy your product immediately without you even being present? And all you need to do is say, hey, welcome as my new customer. How can I help you? Can I plug you into our customer group inside of Facebook? And so this is a tool. So here's the thing. 2013, And I'm going to give you some strategy in a minute here. So get ready to take some notes on strategy and how to put this together for your business. So 2013 is the year I'm making about $56,000 a year. 2014, implementing my freebie method, it was a $434,000 a year for me. That is ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying results are typical. They are not, but they're possible, guys. And I just want you to see prospectively how much this can impact your business if you do it right. And it all really does depend on what it is you're selling and how much you make per sale and all this and that and the other. But regardless, like, wouldn't 10 leads a day be super empowering to you? You would never have to wake up and go, where am I going to find my people today to talk to? You know, if people are walking around thinking, where do I need to find people to talk to? You're asking yourself the wrong question. Well, you need to switch that and you'd be like, how can I show up with more value so that people come to me and want more information from me, right? So this is what I learned how to do. And I had one freebie, right? One freebie that helped me for 2 years in my business to absolutely crush it. And now, like Darren said, we do millions of dollars every single year. And it's because of these freebies that are, my freebie that's out there on everything that it is that I'm doing. Now that I'm showing up with value and I'm giving people something of value. Now, what a freebie does for you instantly, whether you're an expert or not an expert, or maybe you're successful or you're not successful, it doesn't matter. It instantly gives you credibility and authority with your audience because you've taken the time to give them something of value and you're truly showing up that you want to help them. And people want to buy, they just don't want to be sold. So once you have that foot in the door and you're viewed as a credible expert and you're viewed as somebody of value and you're viewed as somebody of authority now to them, when you make your recommendations and suggestions to buy your products and services or join your business or do whatever it is that you sell or do with them, they are listening instead of not listening now. And then they are taking action on you because with you. Now, have you guys ever, if you don't have this book, like go and get this book. It's called The Psychology of Influence. And the author is Robert Cialdini. The Psychology of Influence talks about, we all need this in our lives, personally and professionally. You're influencing people. You're either influencing your children or you're influencing your spouse to take out the garbage, or you're influencing people to buy from you, your prospects to buy from you, right? You're influencing all the time. So this is a very good book. And it's a Bible in my business world for me. This is how much I well respect this book. But in this book, it talks about the 6 human triggers that get people to take action and make decisions. So you need to know what they are if you want to influence people to take an action or have them make a decision that's best for them. So the freebie does this for you. The freebie positions you as an authority, which is one of the 6 human triggers. People tend to make decisions and take action with people that they view that has authority or credibility with them or in the situation that you're in. Your freebie does that for you. Whether you're, credible or not credible, it just automatically does that for you because you've taken the time to put it together. Also, what your freebie does with your audience is it invokes the law of reciprocity. And the law of reciprocity states that when somebody gets something of value from somebody, or when you do something nice for somebody, they automatically feel that they need to reciprocate that, right? So that when you make your recommendations and suggestions, let's say Darren put out a really awesome freebie, and I got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, Darren, like that was so valuable. It helped me. Thank you. Like this is what I'm thinking in my head. When Darren now comes to me and says, hey, Tanya, I recommend this, or I recommend this, or I suggest this, I'm going to be like, absolutely, Darren. Like you have given me so much value already. Of course, I'm going to take you up on your recommendation and suggestion, right? Debbie, the title is The Psychology of Influence by Robert Cialdini. So I started using these freebies in everything that it is that I do. You will very rarely, if not ever, see me post on my social or anywhere that says, buy my stuff. I will almost never do that. And people are like, well, then how do you make sales? I'm like, well, clearly it's working because we make a lot of them. And what I do is my calls to action to buy my stuff is inside of my freebie. And it's congruently in alignment with my audience's needs and wants and the recommendations that I make inside of my freebie and inside of my emails that I send them after they've requested the freebie. And now I've earned the right, I believe in my heart, I've earned the right to now make recommendations and suggestions because first I've delivered value to them. And so here's the deal. And I'll give you guys a formula for also like how these freebies need to be constructed, because there's ones that I've seen that people are like, well, I have things that I give away for free, and I'll look at them and I'll be like, and they're like, they're not working. And I'll look at them and I'll know why they're not working. It's because we haven't positioned them properly. We haven't named it properly. We haven't named it in a way it'll stop somebody's scroll or pique their attention. So there's a little bit of a formula to that. And if you guys are getting value out of this, drop a comment below, give it a hearts, give it a thumbs up. I feed off of y'all's energy. I'm kind of like Darren. I'm very sad. I haven't been able to be on stage for almost over a year. It's been over a year since I've been on a stage. So this is our new stage, Darren. Live stream. But I'm very much, I like my people. I like the energy. So anyways, so there is, and just imagine this, right? So you have, and this is how I grew, my network marketing business so fast, because I knew how to get in front of people and I knew how to build a list of people that were interested in a certain thing. And then when we did like a promotion, or when we had a new product line come out, or we had a Black Friday deal happen, I had an email list of, at that time it was a few thousand people, and I would just send an email and I would say, hey guys, I know that you showed an interest in this, so you might like this. And top sales, top recruiter, every single time. And this, Darren, because, your social media, by the way, is not your list. It can go away tomorrow, and everyone's spending so much time, including myself, and hard-earned efforts and sometimes money building up these platforms with, your I don't like to call people fans or followers, but like your online family, right? So you got big Instagrams, or you got big Facebooks, or you're spending the time, whatever, that can be gone like that immediately. And not to mention, like, if you're not moving people from these social media platforms to a list that you own and control and that you have the authority over, you're only hitting, when you do a post on social, you're only hitting 2 to 3% of your following there. They're only 2 to 3% of your following is seeing your stuff. As opposed to if people were on your email list and you could communicate with them that way, about 20 to 30% of those people would see your stuff within the first 24 to 48 hours. So it's very important to know, like, your social media is not your business. It's a tool. And of course, use the tool. But if you're going to have calls to action on your social media post, like, hey, comment for more information or DM me for more information, the longer you set your business up for that, the longer you are going to be glued to your phone forever. And I've talked to so many top earners in network marketing businesses and all different types of companies. And when they come to me and they come to me for coaching or training, they say, Tanya, I'm burnt out. What can I do? And I say, this is what we need to do. You're really good at active prospecting and sales. You're really good. Like, a lot of you guys are really good at active prospecting and sales. You're glued to this thing all day long and you're making money. But what are you doing? My question would be, what are you doing to work on your passive plan so that you can actually be a business owner and not just another worker, like a sales rep, right? Trying to make sales or grow a team. And that's hard work. It's hard work, you guys. So I always recommend people in any business, when they're just getting started, you got to have an active plan for sure. This isn't like sit back, create a freebie, put your feet up on the desk and wait for everything to come in. That's not what I'm saying. This is a passive plan that can help support your active plan. And at one point in time, and if you do this right, there is one point in time where your passive efforts will surpass your active efforts. And so there might be a time where you're like, I've got enough leads coming in every day that I don't necessarily have to do the active thing anymore. I can decide if I want to do that or not, which is a good place to be in. It's very empowering. One of the biggest questions that I get asked all the time is, Tanya, I love it. You do all these freebies. They're awesome. They're great. I don't know how to create a freebie for my business. I don't. And so I've put something together because I actually can't work live with people this year. We've got the pandemic, we've got COVID. It's just too risky for my family and me and my health and my clients' health and all that to do my mastermind. And so I'm not doing it this year. I'm doing no live events this year. But I still said, how do I show up and still be able to give this information to people in some way? So I want to share with you something that Darren wanted me to share with you guys, because he said, my people will love this. Can you please share this with them? So I said, for sure. And so we started, we just started yesterday. We opened up a group on Facebook called Growth Camp. And it's my 5-day buyer attraction challenge. And it's free right now. So this is incredible value for zero cost to you. We will be charging for it later, but for now, we're going to do a test run. We've proven the concept in a live mastermind setting, but I want to get your feedback. I want to get your testimonials. And so we're doing this 5-day challenge for free right now. And you're more than welcome to invite your people into it. You can come into it. And what we're going to do for 5 days starting March 1st is from March 1st to March 5th, I'm going to go live in the group for about 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm going to give you an activity challenge for that day that'll take you between 15 and 30 minutes a day to do. And at the end of the 5 days, you will have a perfectly positioned freebie that helps you deliver the most value and best value to your audience, that perfectly positions your product and service that you are selling. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're selling. This freebie method that I've designed can and will work for your business. I've worked with over 27,000 clients already, teaching a form of my freebie method, because I believe it is one of the major pillars of my success in my business. And so if you're thinking, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, I don't know what freebie to create. And there is a little art to this if you want to do it right and get these results. The art, it falls in line with making sure that, number one, you understand the benefits of what your product and service provides to people. And you also understand the formatting of the freebie, like how to position it so it shows you as the credible expert and authority, but not only just gives value, makes you sales. So where do you have your calls to action to buy your product and service? And how do you frame those recommendations? And then making sure that that is congruent and in alignment with what it is that you're selling. That's really important for your prospect to go through that journey with you and come out the other end with full clarity and saying to themselves, of course, I'm going to buy that thing. And the major key that I'm going to train on too for you guys is how to name your freebie so it stops people's scroll. This is important because I've actually seen people give away trainings and webinars and, freebies. And then they say, Tanya, I've got this in place. I'm doing this, but it's not working for some reason. Do you mind taking a look? And I was like, sure, let me take a look. And I'll take a look at it. And they have the most beautiful freebie. It's valuable, or they've got really good training that they're doing. It's valuable, but they just haven't named it correctly. When I look at how it's positioned in what they're calling it, I'm like, that's not going to stop anyone's scroll. You have to, there's a formula. It's my hook and title formula. And I give you a fill in the blank so you can have it for your freebie, that when somebody sees it on social, if they're scrolling, it stops their scroll and it gets your perfect potential buyer to go, oh my goodness, I need that. I want that now. And there's an art to that. So I want to share that with you inside of Growth Camp as well. Yeah. And Darren, thank you for sharing the link. So if you guys want to snap a shot of this or copy it down, darrenkid.com/Tanya. I feel so special because I got my own VIP link in your domain name over here. Wow.
Well, hey, I just wanted to attach myself to the Tanya Aliza brand. And I'm like, hey, there we go.
And I was thinking, I just want to attach myself to the Darren Kidd brand. I mean, we're both winning over here. I like it.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. For all of you that are on my social media, you know that I'm only a legend in my own mind, but Tanya is definitely a legend in the online marketing space and network marketing space. But Tanya, I've been taking notes. I mean, I know it's messy, but I've been taking a lot of notes. And for all of you that are tuning in, whether live or on replay, and again, smash that heart button if you're getting some value. And I know you are, because let me tell you, I could have bought a new car, right, with what I paid Tanya for my 2 VIP days, and it was worth its weight in gold. I would have paid 10 times the amount of that. Too late to go back and charge me now, Tanya, but it was worth it, because I wasn't in the space that she had been in for that period of time. And I'm like, man, this is going to shave years off of my learning curve. And so the great news is that I don't care what profession you're in, whether it's mortgages or real estate or network marketing, like this applies to everything. And so when Tanya was talking, and I learned this the hard way, we do not own the following on social media. We're working on rented land is basically what we're doing. Tanya, I remember when Periscope came out, and I put on almost 40,000 followers in a few months, and I was feeling so good. I didn't have any freebies. I didn't have an email list. And all of a sudden, Facebook Live came out. People abandoned Periscope pretty much overnight. It's still going, but they're getting ready to do away with it and go to Twitter, some type of live on Twitter, but because it's owned by Twitter. But I remember going, what a terrible mistake. I lost 40,000 followers that I could have had on my email list, that it didn't matter, that I owned, but I didn't own that list. And so I lost it all. So that was a huge point that I hope everybody's understanding. This is not taking the place of anything else you're doing. This is not distracting you from anything else that you're doing. This is just helping you build that list. And another huge point that you made, Tanya, and I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and actually it was one that you recommended, and Mike was interviewing a guy that only had 5,000 YouTube followers.
I know the interview. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember him saying, then it was another one with the guy that wrote a book that put on 1 million followers in 30 days. Mm-hmm. And they were going back and forth between these two podcasts. It was like, it's not about the people that follow you. It's about buyers, which is exactly what you just said. And so the guy who had 5,000 YouTube followers was generating more income than someone that had 2 million followers, because those followers were not buyers. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's vital for many reasons. And that's why I was excited when you told me the name of this program and the 5-day challenge and what you're going to do, because I'm like, man, this is something that I would have done anything if someone would have taught me years ago. And it cost me a lot of money in the long term by not knowing this information. Mm-hmm. And another thing too that you mentioned was about the email list, right? So as we're building, I know we have a lot of people that are in the network marketing profession. Well, there was a training this past week where Grant Cardone talked about, hey, look, it used to be 8 to 12 touch points before people were ready to make a purchase. Mm-hmm. After COVID, it is, or, in the now, it's over 30 touch points.
Oh, wow.
So having that list allows you continue to create touch points and keep them in that funnel. I look at it as a round room, right? You put them in the round room. Are you ready yet? Nope. Go back in the round room, and they go in a circle, and I follow up again. But those are just some few things that I wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
And so for all of you, make sure you go to darrenkid.com/Tanya. It is a free 5-day challenge, and you'll see the information, because you can learn some very simple but effective tips, strategies, techniques that will help you start that journey.
Yeah. And I didn't mention this because this is just an added bonus. I think the majority of the value is in just the strategy I'm teaching, but what would a challenge be without prizes, right? And winners. So we do have $500 cash that we are giving away to one of the winners of our challenge. So on day 5, we will announce that. When you go to Darren's link that he has set up for you, you'll get the details on how to win and be a winner of the 500. But basically, here's also, we just started sharing. We just opened the doors to Growth Camp yesterday, and we have almost 600 people in there right now. So we'll have a few thousand entrepreneurs in there, and you're going to have a platform to get exposure for your freebie that you created as well. So we're going to ask you to share it. We want to see your work. So you're going to get great exposure. But also, this is the way we're going to pick one of our winners for the cash prize as well. We're going to take a look at your freebie and see what you've created and how you've implemented the work. And yeah, feel free also we have one lady yesterday. She's like, can I share this with my whole group? I want my whole team to be on this thing. And I was like, for sure, grab the link, share it with anybody. It's free right now. And on day 5, not only will we announce the winner, we're also going to teach you a way, like Darren's talking about the email list. And what we'll talk about is how to automate once you have your freebie created. We're going to teach you how to automate that and take that to the next level with an email list, if that's something that you want to do as well. And we'll give you a bunch of different examples and how to make that happen for you. I'm a really big believer of keeping your business simple. Every time I go to complicate it, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. And so if we're meeting each other for the very first time, it's great to meet you, but you're going to learn that I'm very systematic. I believe that if you do work once, you should try your best to do the work once so you can get paid for it forever, and leverage your time and automate the things and create a business, a passive business for yourself, which is what I know we're all here for anyways. I was going to say something that was important and I cannot remember what it was. I saw a comment come through. Who's in Growth Camp? I'm excited to see who signed up for Growth Camp, so I can kind of like put a social media profile face to the name and see you in there when we go live next week. I know what I was going to say. You have all these platforms, right? And everyone's like, Tanya, where should I be? Do I need to be on TikTok? Do I need to be on Instagram? Do I need to be on Facebook, like Clubhouse now? Like, where do I go? What do I do? And my answer is always this. Those platforms are tools. It's not like where you should be going for your business. Like, those are tools to use to bring eyeballs from those platforms to you. So it depends where you want to go. Go where you feel that you connect best with your audience and focus there. But with your calls to action and things that you're doing, instead of saying, buy my stuff, or DM me or comment, have a legitimate way to bring people into your world and keep them around the campfire. Say, oh, I don't know, do you have my freebie on this? And once you know how to create one, you can create another if you want to lead with like the business on one and the product on the other. So I'm excited for this. I always was careful not sharing like email list building with network marketers, because I know there's some trainers out there that are big trainers and they're like, you don't need to build your email list. And they're training like all these people to keep things simple and just cold message people all day long. Like, that's their message, like prospect, cold message people. You don't need to spend time building an email list. And then you look at them and they're building their email list, but they're telling people not to. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And so it was always kind of a little timid as far as like the network marketing profession goes, coming out and like sharing with people, like, and screaming from the rooftops, like, you guys need to be like doing this different. And then meanwhile, there was like little old me over here, like doing it and breaking all records in network marketing, like top recruiter, top this, top that, and people are like, well, how are you doing it? And I'm like, this is how I'm doing it. And so I'd always have a select group of people every year that I'd bring on and I'd teach them exactly how I'm doing it. And now, the landscape's changed with the pandemic. So we've got to pivot and we've got to teach the same stuff in a different way. And I think it's definitely possible. And this Growth Camp is going to kick off this different way. And it's going to allow me to get good feedback from people and deliver some stellar information that's definitely going to help their business and help their brand and make their audience look at you differently, like a person of immense value, which is what you want.
That's awesome. Well, listen, everybody, if you have any last minute quick questions, we'll take just a couple minutes to see if there's any that were, Sharon says, do people still check their emails? Absolutely, Sharon. Some of the top online marketers that not just Tanya, but I've been researching lately said that email is just as powerful, is not more powerful than ever. Tanya, do you want to answer that one?
I mean, I make a few $1,000,000 a year from sending emails and follow-ups out to people. So I get to say that it does work because it's working. Just because you don't do something personally doesn't mean other people aren't doing it. I learned that the hard way too, because I came on board and I said, I don't like Instagram. Instagram, what? Just pictures? And that was me when Instagram came a thing in our world. And now look at Instagram, and it's, it's not necessarily what you do or what you like. It's like what actually really is working,
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely powerful. And I'm going to tell you one of the things, if I could go back, hindsight is 2020, I would have focused a lot harder on building my list, even if I wasn't, for years, Tanya, I didn't sell anything. I was just marketing to my my network marketing database when I was a distributor. And I will tell you, because I built my list, and I didn't even think about this earlier, Tanya, because I built my list, I brought in top leaders in different countries that ended up generating hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue and millions of dollars a month, millions in revenue that came from me building my email list. It came from doing exactly what you just said. So success leaves clues. So again, this is not something that you do in addition, in replacing what you're doing. It's something you do in addition to what you're doing, no matter what profession.
Totally. I like how you said that. That's very important for everybody to make note of, for sure. Facebook was worth $1 billion before they sold 1 cent of ad space revenue for them. They ever sold $1 of ad revenue. They made $1. So they were worth $1 billion before they made any money. Why? They had the audience. They had the eyeballs. They had the people. They owned it. It was their app. It was their platform. They owned their people that they brought to their platform and made them worth $1 billion before they went public or even sold $1 of ad revenue. And so we could either go out and create a Facebook or a Clubhouse, or we just build our email list, because that's essentially like what it does for you if you have that list that you own and control. And you can't just do it by saying, hey, get on my email list or sign up for my newsletter or anything like that. No, you have to give somebody something of value and position your product and service and brand in a certain way for that to work effectively. And we've been doing it for over 10 years now. And so we know, we've been through a lot, and I hope to have been able to break it down in bite-sized pieces for people to just go, oh, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. 5 days, 15 minutes a day. Got it locked in.
Awesome. Well, hey, actually, one of my freebies, darrenkid.com/Facebook, is Tanya, I need you to review that one, because I'm sure that I have done a lot of things wrong on that one, right? It's 20 of my top tips to use, Facebook and attraction marketing to have hot prospects reaching out to you with their wallets open and ready to, find out what more about your product, your service, or what you're having to offer. But, that's just one of my freebies that I've been offering that, we've had thousands of people, download. And so if you want to check out one of mine, and I cannot wait to go through the 5-day challenge with all of you, because guess what? Afterwards, you will probably see me make some challenges to that freebie. Right. And again, I've learned a lot. Tanya has been a big help and a mentor in that space. And we appreciate you, jumping on, Tanya, giving us value. Can't wait for the 5-day challenge. And so is there any last minute things that you want to add? Because I don't see any questions. I think you knocked it out of the park. It's pretty simple. Hey, listen, do you want to participate in a free 5-day challenge where I'm going to teach you how to go out and create a freebie and start building your list, which you own? You're not building on rented land like we are on social media, that you can take no matter what you do, whether it's real estate, network marketing, mortgages. And so I'm excited about that myself. So Tanya, any last minute, comments?
No, man. I mean, thank you for having me. I appreciate hanging out always. It's a pleasure. And nice to meet you guys if I'm meeting you for the very first time. And I hope to see you in growth camp. We'll have fun and we'll put something together for your business that hopefully becomes profitable for you for a long time to come.
All right. And Tanya and I will definitely be doing more things together in the future. So if you got some value, please make sure to put that in the comments. I've seen a lot of great positive feedback, and we'll come back and we'll check that out, and then smash that heart button up top, and appreciate each and every one of you. Have an amazing day and can't wait to see you in the 5-day challenge. Have a
Bye,
great
guys.
day, everybody. See ya.